Hello, welcome to Aimee Nolte Music. Today we talk about my favorite Bill Evans chords. We're just gonna get right into it and talk about it because you don't want to hear me talk, you want to hear these chords. Okay, I have taken these chords from my transcriptions and I thought of a fun idea. My fun idea is that I'm gonna play you the chord and you're gonna try to guess what the root note is. Sometimes he plays these root notes and I've just left them out. Because we'll talk about them like the rootless voicings for the most part. There's a couple that we won't, but okay, here it is. We've got, this tritone on the bottom, and we've got a diminished chord on the top. It could be a few different things. What do you think it is? Do you have an idea? I think if I was just seeing this, I might guess that C was the root note. And that would be a really cool chord. Like, that would be absolutely fine. But that's not what it is. Let me show you. What if I told you it's a G minor chord? Cool, right? That's how he used it. So let's think about all of those notes and what they are. What's that bottom note? So right off the bat, we know that we have the 6. We also know that we have the minor third. It's kind of cool because usually pianists put either the 7 or the 3rd on the bottom, but he's definitely got that 6 on the bottom. What's that one? Let's count up in G minor. It's the 7th note. Now, I wasn't playing like a G minor scale right there. Let's do that. Let's just play melodic. We do want to remember that the E does not come from the key. So in G minor, the key is B flat major, right? So it's not the 4th degree of that scale. It's sharped. So we do call that just the natural 6 on a G minor chord. So that's the low note, then we've got our minor 3rd, and then we've got this 7. But it's not the natural 7, it's the plus 7 or the sharp 7. The cool sound on G minor. Right, so we've got that. We've also got the 9, and we've got the 11. So the cool thing about music theory is that somebody was smart when they thought of it. Those are extensions. They come one right after another. So we've got G minor, right? And now we've got a 7, a 9, and an 11. And what we can do is just write 11, and it implies the 9th and the 7th. So we write 11, but then we have some, like this is not the 7. If this was a G minor 11 for real, this would be an F natural. And also you would not have the 6th degree in it. So we need to write some kind of crazy notation that tells us to play the 6 and also to play the sharp 7. I think that's how I would do it. It's a little bit crazy, but I think that tells us everything we need to know. Isn't it cool? Yeah, great way to voice that chord. Think about if you were playing some minor tune. Wouldn't it sound great to end the tune on? That was a Lullaby of the Leaves. It's a wonderful sounding chord. Yeah. All right, let's look at the next one. You can see it already. I want you to guess what it is, because that's super fun. We've got a G on the bottom, and then, what's this? Well, it's a G flat triad in second inversion, isn't it? If we had this D flat note up on the top, it would just be a G flat triad. Can you guess what it is? I think it sounds magical. One thing it could be, even though it's not spelled this way, is an A7 chord. Right, if we spelled the D flat as a C sharp and the G flat as an F sharp, and we can spell the B flat as an A sharp, then we've got an A13 with a flat 9. But that's not what it is. But it is a good hint as to what it is, because it's a tritone substitution for that. It's an E flat 7 chord. I'm not going to write the 7 yet, because we need to think about it a little bit, but let's hear that. There's an E flat. Isn't it pretty? Yeah. So what do we have on the bottom? It's pretty standard, isn't it? It's just the 3rd and the 7. But then, what is this one? It's a G flat. We should probably, if we were being correct, we would actually call it an F sharp, because in E flat it is the 9th degree. And we're sharping it, so it should actually be an F sharp. And then what's this one? It's just the 5. The 5 is usually pretty boring to play on a dominant chord, but not if it's a part of a triad like this, because it gives it a whole different character. Doesn't it? Isn't that nice? All right, so we've got the 3rd and the 7. We've got the sharp 9 and the 5. That's it. So all we need to do is call it an E flat 7 with a plus 9 or a sharp 9. Plus, sharp, they're interchangeable. When might you use this chord? Let's think about it a little bit. How about there it is. I'm playing Yesterdays in the key of A flat minor. Yesterdays. Beautiful. You can use it as the 5 of a minor 2-5-1. It sounds great. You see the next one? I love that it has this skip in it. That's what makes it cool to me. It sounds like this. I don't know if it's so hard for you to figure out. I'll bet you can figure it out pretty easily. It's a B flat 7 chord. But it's got the sharp 9. It's got that nice dissonance in it. I'm playing the outer 2 notes here, the D flat and the D natural. Technically this should be a C sharp. But then we've got the root. Somehow it sounds great to put the root in there, and then the 7 on the bottom. Let's see. Let's think of another song where that would sound great. Now, this is how I'm thinking of the song. Well, let me write it. So, we're going to call it a B flat 7. I'll write a sharp this time, sharp 9. This is how I'm going about it. I know that an altered chord, an altered dominant chord like that, should serve as the 5 chord. So I try to think of a song that's in a minor key. We could think of Autumn Leaves, and actually the last 3 songs I thought of have been in minor keys, haven't they? But now what I need to do is think, what is 5, the root, or what is B flat, the 5 of, and it's E flat, right? E flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the 5th degree. You have your minor chord, or you have your dominant chord like that. So if we play Autumn Leaves in the key of E flat minor, then the B flat 7 altered chord, that'll be our 5 chord. Miss you most of. Let's see how it sounds. Oh, it sounds so good. F is the note in the melody, and it sounds really nice with it. Ooh, what if we played this voicing, but in the key of E flat minor? Let's try that. All right, so E flat minor, we've got the 6 on the bottom. There it is. And then we've got the tritone away. And then this is an easy way to think of it. What's the distance between B flat to F sharp right here? B flat to F sharp. It's a minor 6th away, isn't it? So from the F sharp that I've got, or E flat, we're in the key of E flat minor, aren't we? Minor 6th would be a D. And then all I have to do is play a the triad on top, a diminished triad. There it is. That's, wow. All right, so I kind of take a look at that in my hands, remember how it is, and then I'm going to play it after I play the B flat 7 dominant chord. Okay. All right, I've got it. Now, when autumn leaves start to fall. Oh, it's so pretty. Yeah, so we're learning. We're not only taking Bill Evans' best chords, some of his very best chords, but we're learning to put them in the context of tunes. That's the only way we're really going to learn from these. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, here's the next one. You know what it is? Well, if you're paying close attention, you can see that every single note is 1/2 step lower than the last chord, isn't it? So it's the exact same chord, just a whole step down. Did I just say half step? I meant whole step. Same chord. But since they followed each other in How Deep is the Ocean, which is where I got them from, Bill Evans, I thought I'd just write them next to each other. And with the roots on the bottom, they sound like this. So nice. Okay, moving on. Last one on the top line. Also, if you'd like a copy of this worksheet, you can email me, aimeenolte@yahoo.com, and I will send one to you. What do you think this one is? Well, I like the top part of it a lot. We've got fourths, right? The distance between G and D is a fourth, and the distance between D and A is a fourth. And then we've got a tritone on the bottom. This is a really common device that we use in jazz. And typically we would use this on an F7 chord. We would also use it on a B7 chord. It would sound great in both cases. Watch, here's the F7, and here's the B7. Because those two chords are a tritone apart, these notes work for them. So in F7, we have the 7, that's the flat 7, the natural third, the 13, and the 9. But as soon as we change that bass note and make it a B, the bottom note here becomes, that E flat becomes a D sharp, so it's the third, the 7, the sharp 9, and the sharp 5, and it sounds much more colorful. But you know what? It's not either of those chords. Bill Evans did not play it as a dominant chord. It's a C minor chord. So this is kind of cool. He's got the third on the bottom, there's a C and an E flat, but the next note that he adds is the 6 of C minor, the natural 6. Can we sing the D? Can you guys sing the D? How about the G? And that sounds great, doesn't it? What if we were going to start the tune Lullaby of Birdland? Wouldn't that be a nice way to start it? Lullaby of Birdland. Be a great starting chord, be a great ending chord. C minor. Let's call it a C minor 6/9, shall we? Okay. Okay, there's our next chord. What do you think it is? Were you right? It's a G7. It's got the flat 9 on the bottom, so for sure we've got a flat 9. It's also got the sharp 9. How about that? We've got both flavors of 9. It's pretty cool. We've also got a flat 5, don't we? So I mean, you could just notate it as altered, but you actually, if you want somebody to play these notes, you better just write them out. So flat 9, third, flat 5, and sharp 9. Let's hear them with the G on the bottom. Pretty cool. I think it's tasty. Okay, next. That guy. like a C minor chord, and it could be like a C minor 9, but it's actually not. This is the first half diminished chord we discussed. It's an A half diminished. We've got the flat 7, the flat 3, the 4 or the 11, and the flat 5. Sounds great. Summertime, here it is. And the living is easy. All you would have to do to go from this half diminished chord to a D7 chord is just lower this to an F sharp, and you can have the same top 3 notes. Works for both chords, right? I love that rub. Don't be afraid to come up with things like this. When, you know, Bill Evans can come up with our voicings for us, but we can come up with our own voicings. That's, you know, that's why we're doing this, because I mean, he can teach us lots of things, and the things he's teaching us is that, you know, these rubs sound really good together. So a lot of times we have really dissonant notes, right? Like in the previous bar, we had a B natural and an A sharp. Those sound really good together. And in this one, we've got scale degree 1, 2, and 3, and flat 3, and they sound really great together too. So when you're building your own voicings and trying to be creative in the sounds that you make, use these things. Use little cluster notes. Use some dissonance. Use the kind of relationships between the notes that Bill Evans is teaching us. All right, next chord. This one I'm going to go ahead and just tell you what it's called. This was from the tune My Man's Gone Now. And there's a chord that happens in this tune several times. It's F major over E. And I love the way he voices it. There's a particular time when he does this. Isn't that clever? In the middle, we have fourths. You hear them? Can you sing them? G, D, A. And then the outer 2 voices are an F and a B, which are a tritone apart. The top 3 voices, D, G, B, those are a triad. A lot of times if you put a triad on the top, it sounds great. So nice. So that's, I mean, I just called it F major over E, but we've really got an F sharp, we've really got an F major with a plus 11 and a 13 and a 9 in it, don't we? Yeah. Okay, let's look at the next one. I'll stop quizzing you. This is another voicing that I really like. Can you imagine it in a song? This pedal tone, it's gorgeous. Let's look at this voicing for an F7 chord. This one's nuts. So cool. He's got the 5th on the bottom, sharp 11, and the root. So the 2 notes that I usually tell you not to play, the 5th and the root, and he just plays on them. Let me play it in context for you. This one actually comes from the transcription I did of Bill Evans' solo recording of People. Cool sounding, right? Did you hear it? It's people who need. There it is, it's on need. But the way that he does it, his right hand goes like this. And his left hand goes. It's really striking and bold, I think, but in passing, he makes it work. I'll show it to you. Interesting, right? F7 with neither the 3rd nor the 7. Look at this last one with me. It's just those notes for a G minor chord. All he's got is the 9, the flat 3, and the 6. And this also comes from People. And so does the very last chord that we're going to look at. And he kind of uses the same idea as we just talked about on F7, where he had the F and the B natural and the C, but this time he just adds a D. But again, no third and no 7. Isn't that cool? Let me show you how it looks in the tune. It looks like this. And with the left hand, which is, I'll play it for you. Wow. You think he might play just a really simple, uninteresting chord for his next chord, but he doesn't. He's going to go to a B flat major, but he... Isn't that beautiful? Just crazy. That one, I mean, that's pretty nuts. But again, it's a diminished triad, isn't it? That's one of the first things we looked at. He likes to put a diminished triad on top, I think, to kind of shock us. So those are a few of my favorite Bill Evans chords. Remember to use this as a jumping off point for your own voicings, to make your own piano playing more creative and interesting. And you're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'll see you next time on Aimee Nolte Music.